Hi friends, coming back at you with another makeup tutorial. This is a smoky green slash goldish slash silver eye look. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm going to get started with doing my brows. Oh no, wait, I'm having tea. Then I'm going to get started with doing my brows. I'm using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Ebony. I always just speed through this. If you are not new around here, you know I do my brows the same way. I'm actually thinking of starting to cut this out of my makeup tutorials because it's the same. I fill in my brows with the Dip Brow Pomade. I brush it through. Boom, bam, done. The next step I don't always do. I only do this if I really want my eyeshadows to pop and I really want them to last a long time. You're going to see me talking and laughing a lot throughout this tutorial, and that is because I was talking to my boyfriend and he was just cracking me up. So this step I don't do often, but when I do it, I like the effect. So what I'm doing is I'm using concealer. I'm starting at the bottom of my brow and I'm taking it all the way down the eyelid. This is just going to help to make the brow hairs look really neat, and it's also going to make, as I mentioned, the eyeshadows pop. And it acts as basically a primer and a base for your eye. I wouldn't recommend doing that if you have dry skin because it does mattify the eyelid, but if you have very oily skin like I do, this is amazing. So I'm just going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder to set that, and we're going into the Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm going to take this brown shade and put this in the crease. I actually feel really bad because I've pre-filmed a lot of these makeup tutorials using this palette with the assumption that it would be back in stock, but this thing just keeps selling out. So if you're interested in trying to get one, they said they're going to restock in August. Also, I have a giveaway for this palette, so if you want to enter that, I will leave a link to it down below. So I'm just putting that brown shade all throughout the crease. Next up, I'm going to go in with this black shade and put that all over the lid, kind of to act as a second base in addition to that primer base we put down for the shadows that we're going to put on. So I'm putting this black color all over the lid. I'm not joking, you guys, when I tell you I use this palette every single day. I love it. The more I've used it, the more I end up loving it. I've used it for dramatic looks, for everyday looks. I use it for work. I use it to go out. I love this palette. I actually have 5 of them. I was planning on giving away 4, but I'm thinking now I might actually save 2 for myself so that when I hit pan on some of these colors, I'll have more. But I do have a giveaway for 1 palette going on right now, and I'll probably do some more. Come on, I really don't need 5 palettes, do I? Next, I'm going to take this gold shimmery shade from Be a Bombshell. I believe the shade, it's called Taj Mahal. This color is very pigmented. I didn't realize how pigmented it was, and I added a lot to the brush. You need very little of this shadow on your brush, and look at how pretty that is, especially on top of the black. It's really popping, and it's giving me like a smoked out gold smoky look, and that's what I was going for. But it started to look a little muddy, and I feel like I may have put too much black shadow on. You see me looking at it, I'm like, I don't know if I like this. This is what happens to me in almost every makeup tutorial I do. If you are new around here, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just a girl who loves makeup and playing around with it. So I try different things, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. So what happens is I pile on a crap ton of color. So now I'm going to go into the Essence makeup palette. I believe this one's called All About Roses or All Roses. I really like this palette, and it's very affordable. I'll leave a link to it down below. So I took that pale pink shade and I put it on the inner corner, thinking, okay, maybe that'll brighten this eye look up and give me the effect I was going for, but I felt like the gold still looked kind of muddy. I don't know if you see what I'm thinking it looks like. I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but I just didn't really like the color combo of the gold and the black. So you see me looking at it, I'm like, oh God, what do I do now? What do I do now? As I do makeup tutorials, that's my weakness, is that I get lost on what color combos I want to do. So then I just keep packing on more color, and then I love it. So now I'm going to go back into that palette and take this very pretty purple shade. I love this shade. And by the way, this palette is under $6. Really great, affordable palette. You can pick it up online or at Ulta. So I took that purple shade and I put it all over the lid. I don't know where that clip went of me putting that on. And then I packed on more pale pink, and it still, I don't know, I just didn't like the color combo. So then what I did is I essentially, look at the faces I'm making. I'm like, where is this going? I don't know where the clip went, but I went back into the Jaclyn Hill palette, and you see how the eye look now looks more green? I took the green shade, it's like a deep Everest forest green from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and packed it all on top of those colors that you just saw me put it on. And finally I got this look, and I was like, okay, I'm happy. So it kind of gives me like a green smoky effect with purple undertones. It actually came out really pretty. So that's just what happens to me. If you're ever doing makeup, if you're not a makeup artist, you're new to makeup, or maybe you even are a makeup artist, sometimes you just got to keep going and it'll all come together. So I felt like this actually came together pretty nicely. Moving on, I'm going to use the Kiko Milano liner. Kiko actually sent me this liner. Really love I always want to call it the pen, but the applicator for the liner. You can do a really thin line with it, or you can even, like if you just press down a little more firm, you can get a really thick line. And because the applicator is it's very long and pointy, it just makes doing your liner so easy. So I just took my time because I wanted the line to be very thin on the lid and then take it out and do a pretty dramatic cat line, because I just felt like this look needed some dramatic liner. So I went pretty far out. I don't usually go this far out for my winged liner, but I thought, why not? Because it took me about 50 hours to get this color combo down. We might as well go all out with the liner. So I'm going to do that. And then I wanted to show you the other eye because I felt like you could see better on this side. And I told you guys I'm trying to leave more in on the makeup tutorials because I feel like I cut out a lot of clips because I don't want the video to be too long, but then I feel like you don't get a real depiction of what it took to get the whole look together. So I'm trying to leave a little more in so you can see what happens. So this is how slow I go when doing my liner, and I actually still cut stuff out. Next thing, I'm going in with this Lancome Monsieur Big mascara. I really like this mascara. There's a reason you're seeing it everywhere. I love the brush. I love how densely packed the bristles are. It really does actually make me look like I have false lashes on. So many mascaras claim that they do that and they don't, but this one actually does. Really like it. Moving on to the Clarins UV Anti-Pollution Sunscreen slash, I don't want to call it a serum. It's just awesome. I really like it. I've been using it actually on my chest area and my arms because I get really bad heat rashes, and it's cleared it up. Can you believe that? I want to do like a full review video on that. I get really bad sun rashes, so I really love this stuff. It's not that affordable. I think it's like $40, $50. I'll leave a link to it down below, but definitely worth it if you're looking for a lightweight sunscreen that's going to protect your skin from the elements. Really, really like it. Hashtag not sponsored, by the way. I know you guys think when I rave about a product it's sponsored. Not sponsored. Moving on, I'm going to use the e.l.f. foundation. I really like this foundation, but if you have oily skin, definitely use a primer and definitely set it with a powder, because I'm not sure if this is meant to be used by oily skin people, because after I have it on for about an hour or two, it gets very, very shiny. But if you set it with a powder, you're good to go. And this foundation, super affordable, $6, and super full coverage. I love a good full coverage foundation, and I love it even more when it's affordable, so I really like it. So I'm just packing that into the skin. You see with the foundation, I actually press it into the skin. I don't swipe it, and that helps it to be a lot longer lasting. Moving on, I'm going to use my concealer. I'm going to use it under the eyes, down the bridge of the nose, and occasionally, I'd say 50% of the time, I use my fingers to apply it. 50% of the time, I use a brush. I prefer to use my fingers for this just because I feel like it's a little gentler under the eyes, which is nice because my skin there is very sensitive, and I feel like the warmth from my fingers really blends that out for me. It helps to start the blending process. Next up, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder and press this into the areas where I put that concealer just to set that, and then what I do is I go back with the foundation brush to make sure that's blended, because people always ask me, how do you get it so blended with the foundation? That's all I do. Moving on, I'm going to go into the Graftobian Cream HD palette. Love this palette. You guys have heard me talk a lot about it. It's so awesome. It's $84, but it's definitely worth it. Whether you're a makeup artist or just a makeup lover like myself, you can mix and match the colors and use them on almost any skin tone. It's totally worth the money. If you're looking for a travel-friendly concealer palette or just a concealer palette with a lot of color variations, really like it. And the formula just melts into the skin. Next up, I'm going to use this NYX blush and pack on that blush. I love this shade. It's so pretty. I need to pick up some more shades of this blush. I don't know the exact name of it, but I'll leave a link to it down below. If you are not careful, though, this blush can go on and be very, very pigmented, so you need a very light hand with it, and it'll give you just a nice wash of color. It's really pretty. and I love it. Perfect for summer too, a nice like pop of pink. Next up, I am going to use my Julie Hewett lipstick, and this is in Odessa. I love this. I've been talking about this for a while. I used it in my last makeup tutorial. If you are brown skin like myself, this is the perfect natural neutral shade. If you are darker than me, this would be like a perfect rosy mauvey color. If you're lighter than me, again, it would be like a perfect rosy mauvey color. Really like it. I feel like it's very versatile. Every skin tone can use it. I'm going to use the Jouer lip topper in tan lines, and then this is the finished look. It took a lot of trials, but we got here. I hope that you will subscribe and hit the bell if you enjoyed this, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.